In the latest update for the Brizy free version, which is 1.0.83, which was on September 19th, new features include text shadow. And this is one feature that I use a lot, but probably not in the way you would imagine using it. Let me show you the section that we had created over here that is about the fall collection, a magazine that we want to send out. What we have here is we had the image in the background and we applied a gradient overlay. We put this pink oranges, what color that is there on the left, with white here on the right. The reason I did that was mainly because I was using white text here. And if I don't have that, the text does not contrast with the background. Let's go into the page builder and I show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to duplicate this block because I don't want to mess up the one that we've built. So here we've got a duplicate version. We go to the block, select colors, and then here where we had applied the overlay, I'm going to just put it on solid, and then I'll reduce the opacity all the way to 0. Immediately you understand the problem that we face here, and that is no contrast. You'll hear me using this concept of contrast again and again and again, because contrast is what gives you the visual impact. This is one of the reasons we often use that overlay in the background so that we can have the text stand out. But what if this image is so important you don't want to apply that overlay? And this is where the text shadow can play a great role. Click on the element, and if you now go to the color, you will see shadow appear over here. Let me just scroll down a bit and then click on it again so we have the pop-up bar there at the top. Go to shadow, and if you click on any swatch, you will see you have this shadow now. Immediately you understand how we solved that problem of contrast. You have the text and it stands out from the background. And this is a very good way of making sure you can achieve that contrast. But I am not a very big fan all the time of this kind of drop shadow. I don't want to show you the drop shadow too much, but two things I want to share with you. The first thing is that many people, when they use drop shadows, they go and they choose black. Good practice is to choose a very dark color and apply that in a darker shade and not true black. It's just one of those things. You don't have to, you can stick with black. But in this case, for example, this second swatch from the left is darker. It fits better with the background. Still, you're going to reduce it a little bit, but you just choose something with a tad color in it. But what I want to do for my text element here is I don't want to apply a drop shadow. You see the three options here at the bottom. Now, the first one is the spread. Let me increase that with about to 25%, and you will see that all the pixels are now spread out wider from your text element. Let's put it back at 5. What I want to do first, I want to remove the drop shadow. So all I'm going to do for my vertical axis, I'm going to put in 0. And then for the horizontal one, also 0. Basically, what we've created here now is almost like an outline. What I'll do now is I'll increase it to 25, play around with it. And then I'll come up here and I'll reduce the shadow a little bit more. Do you see what we've done? We've created a slight shadow there in the background that separates my text from the background, not too obviously. A drop shadow can be a little bit too much in your face. You can still clearly read it says fall collection, but you don't have that shadow that is so straight up in your face. Let's do the same for this one over here. We go up to our colors, shadow, we apply this one, we remove the Z and X axis. And then here you can see we have it at 5. Let's increase it a little bit more to 8. And then just slightly decrease until you think it becomes problem to read. So I'm going to leave this one around 76. You see, even the text is better to read. So depending on what you're working with, like this white is very much similar to the background, you will apply maybe a higher level of opacity than you would if it were less, like if you were just working with a pink background. This is a feature I use all the time because sometimes I use a background image that does not warrant an overlay like we have here. In this case, I actually think the overlook looks really good. The colors complement the flowers, and it tells you a little bit about fall, gives you the color of fall, and it works very well. But in that case where you have a background image, where you want to have the image remain with no overlay, remember this tip if you want to keep your text color very similar to the background color theme. This is a very great feature that is now included in Brizy Free. So if you have Brizy Pro, you can also use it. It's one that I've been waiting for a long time. It's something that I apply in my graphic design all the time. So I'm very happy that this feature has come into Brizy.